Hey guys. You guys hear me all right? Hey everybody. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me okay. I'm not monitoring right now, so just very good. How is everybody tonight? We got JSP, Justin Finn, Jake, Torgerson, Black Belt, Penguin. Good to see some familiar names, especially on these little impromptu, hey, I just feel like I'm in the mood to grab a mic and turn it on and see who's out there. So yeah, you're right about the delay. Pardon me 1 second. Yes, 10 seconds after I clicked the start streaming button, my daughter comes in and says, can I blow dry my hair? It's like, yes, of course. Do the things you need to do. It's okay. I'm just hanging out there. It's Laney Lane and a Dylan Androsino. So cool to see some familiar names out there. It's always fun when I just get inspired and want to turn on the mic real fast. It's really cool to see. It's like casting a net, and you kind of throw the net out there at different nights of the week, different times of the night, and it's interesting that some of the same names get caught in the net. I love that. How's everybody doing tonight? Today's Wednesday, right? Midway through the week. Everybody having a good week so far? I'm just I don't know. Gotta do some things at work tomorrow that are a little out of my comfort zone, and thought I would take a few minutes to chill out a little bit, get a little ASMR radio therapy going on. JSP, do you have to work in the morning? 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and you're hanging out on the internet. What's going on with that? Gotta get some sleep, man. Justin Finn, thanks for the comment about the old watch video. Yeah, I was really happy with that. I intentionally went for a really dark, an intentionally underexposed frame that time. I really wanted that wood to look really dark and rich and not washed out. Did it look too dark? Well, and the other thing about those watches are when those white porcelain faces, just like this lid, when those white porcelain faces hit the light just right and reflect it back into the camera, it is super, super bright. So I usually back down the exposure quite a bit for those. So hopefully it worked out well for people who are trying to go to sleep and watching videos, at nighttime and such. Yeah, JSP, no problem about vanishing partway through the last stream. It is all good. It's kind of revolving door kind of a thing on these streams, obviously, as is true for all of them. It's just fun kind of popping on here kind of unannounced and see who's out there. Jake Torgensen, are you asking JSP about his work, or are you asking about mine? JSP's in meetings all evenings, going to be working from 1 to 9. How about that? Jake, I work for a defense contractor, and I'm a project engineer. Got a few doodads here to mess around with, to kind of de-stress with a little bit. And I have some interesting news about the yearbook. The yearbook page turning video we've been talking about a little bit. Yeah, I'm an engineer. My degree was in mechanical engineering, but I'm a project engineer, which is basically someone who leads an engineering team. I keep bumping this mic. Kind of manages the cost and schedule execution. Tried to, keep everything on track and in the box, that kind of thing. There's Phyllis from SoCal. How you doing, Phyllis? Yeah, JSP, the yearbook thing. So one thing I got to tell you guys. And I don't know why I did this first, because I guess I'm just an eternal optimist, because I go to antique malls sometimes because I like browsing through those kinds of places and getting ideas and stuff. But antique malls are great when you're not looking for anything specific, because it's just cool to kind of roam around and kind of see all the amazing things that are just kind of sitting around. But they're really terrible when you are looking for something specific, like an old yearbook. I went to a place that's close to my work. Sorry if that's too loud. And couldn't find anything. But as it turns out, if you're looking for an old yearbook, go to eBay, and you will find a nearly bottomless pit of yearbooks of every imaginable variety, every year you can think of, from high school, college, all over the country. Just an amazing amount of things to choose from on eBay. And I didn't even look for very long before I found one, and we're talking about, $10, right? I mean, you do find some listings for yearbooks that have famous people in them, and they charge more for that kind of stuff. But, if you're just looking for a yearbook, Although I don't know why you would be looking for a yearbook outside of, like, what we've been talking about doing. But boy, there's a lot to choose from. So I did order one. Now, hopefully it'll get here in time. I haven't heard anything from the buyer, the seller, since I bought it. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It was a couple of days ago. But I've got a yearbook from a place called Jordan High School in Los Angeles from the year 1935. And I picked that year on purpose. Justin Finn, an engineer, got any advice for an aspiring one? What do you mean by aspiring, Justin? Are you in an engineering school? So, 1935. So here's the deal. If you assume, and I think this is generally true, and I guess I kind of assume it was generally true back then too. If you assume that kids are about 18 years old when they graduate high school, then the people who graduated high school in 1935 were born 100 years ago. And I really like the idea of musing on a collection of youngsters who were born a century ago, and really kind of look through that book and see if we can. I love the idea of musing about the high school experience and asking ourselves, how much of that experience do we think is dependent on the century we were born in, and how much of it might be universal, right? The themes of, being a teenager, being in social and educational scenarios with other teenagers every day, trying to fit in, trying to be accepted, trying to figure out who we are. I think it'd be kind of a neat journey to use a yearbook with kids born 100 years ago and look at those faces, look at those pictures of the settings, look at the stuff that was written, and see if we can try to piece together how much of that experience is somewhat universal and how much of it was different for them than it was for us just because they were born a century before us, right? I think that might make a neat launching point for a video. And the other cool thing about this yearbook that I pulled the trigger on is that it apparently belonged to based on one of the signatures that I saw, it belonged to the student body president that year. And it has 80 or 85, no, maybe it was over 100, over 100 signatures and inscriptions in it by other people. So it should be just an amazing imagination journey to sift through this thing. It's about 80 pages. The the dog is breathing hard, so he says hi. JSP works in supply chain management. Yeah, we've got a pretty big supply chain department at my workplace. Maxie Waxy's in the house, and he says, hey, hey, hey. Justin Finn's just about to head off to college. I think I'm going to need to let the dog out. My apologies. That's the dog. One moment, please. Sorry. I guess that's one of the things we need to deal with in these impromptu streams is the doggy needing out, and I'll have to get up and let him back in momentarily. How much sentimental value that book contained for so many people. That's exactly right. And now, through an estate sale or something like that, it ends up, leaving the family and ends up in the hands of somebody like me. My apologies, guys. Okay, I'm back. But, one thing I was thinking about, I really didn't want to use a very modern yearbook. The 100 years thing just seemed like a nice kind of round number, but it also ensured that for the most part, it was likely that all of the people in that book have now left us. And I think there's something, compelling about musing over their pictures and over their school settings at the beginning of their life journeys, and having that discussion at a time when everything has wrapped up for them. I think that's going to end up being an important part of that important aspect of that experience, I think. So Justin, are you, so I assume you're heading off towards college for an engineering degree? Why engineering? I went for a mechanical engineering degree, and I was always the kid who would take stuff apart. Little transistor radios that I would take apart and couldn't get back together again, and a million other things. Also, I think I always had a predisposition to engineering. What's your what draws you to that field, Justin? Do you have engineers in the family, or is it, or are you the one? You're the one technical guy in a family full of artists. So much potential, celebration, and hope for the future. And although we can never know what happened to them all, it's always nice to come away from it hoping the best. Absolutely. No, JSP, that was your best sentence. That's the best 3 a.m. Sentence I've seen today, for sure. And I think you said it, JSP. It's we absolutely will come at this video with a sense of optimism, right? Because you want to, well, in the absence of any other information, you always want to assume that everybody went out and accomplished everything they wanted to, Pretty much break everything that had more than 3 pieces. Drives me to redesign and recreate current things, making them better for the future. That is outstanding, Justin. Good for you. So what are you thinking? Mechanical engineering? Some sort of industrial engineering? Thanks, JSP. That's great feedback. I like to try to keep things positive. That's one of my channel missions, I guess you could say. I want to, there's enough other places out there in the world that celebrate the differences between people, and I don't use the word celebrate there in a good way, but perhaps not quite enough places that really celebrate the commonalities, the things we share. Unfortunately, there need to be more of those. But if it comes in time, I'll shoot that next weekend, not the weekend coming up, but the one after. How many people in the States have a 3-day weekend coming up with the Labor Day holiday? Oh, Justin's going mechanical as well. Yep, I guess you're following right in my footsteps. And your comment about, really responding to tangible things, that's right up my alley as well. For example, the project I'm on now has a great deal of software involved, software engineering. And so I'm managing the execution of the software work, and I've also been on projects with a lot of systems engineering and electrical engineering, but I definitely I just don't respond the same way to that stuff than I do projects with a lot of mechanical work, a lot of mechanical design work, a lot of manufacturing work, a lot of assembly, a lot of prototyping. Mark Ludford, there's a new name. Hello, Mark. Good to see you, man. Just stumbled on this channel, got halfway into your new maps video. Saw you were streaming, love the vibe. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping through. We're just doing a little impromptu thing here tonight. I got in the mood to turn on the microphone, so that's all we're doing, just kind of chilling a little bit. I do occasionally schedule longer, more formal streams, and I'll probably do one of those either this weekend or maybe in a couple of weeks. But every once in a while, I just kind of like to do a little surprise stream and just see who's out there. Laney Lane works in healthcare, no 3-day breaks. I totally understand. Software for the company to use as a tool or to be deployed. JSP, the software I'm talking about is a software that would go onto a helicopter. So thanks, Mark. We got a great small, hope you'll stick around with us. Small group of people that show up for these things, and we have some nice little chats, which is just the way I like it. And I like that the way you guys participate in the chat makes the chat, more enjoyable for, all of you guys that show up, right? It's not, there's a type of stream out there where, the streamer's really not doing anything but waiting for something to react to, and no disrespect to that. That's one of the styles that are out there. But when you guys, kind of go back and forth, oh, JSP said something I almost missed. Negative sources get picked up and bandied around across all kinds of media, though. Positivity seems to get overshadowed. Yep, you got it. That is exactly right. I mean, think about it this way. If you turn on the news, you never see a news program giving you 30 minutes or 60 minutes of all the good things that have happened, right? I think there's a cultural predisposition that says, the only news that's really worth telling you about that you need to know is the bad stuff, and you can figure out the good stuff on your own. And that's that's a really unfortunate bit of cultural programming, if you ask me. These are little green and red plastic beads. They've got a little hole in the middle. A long time ago, when I used to play the card game Jihad, the vampire card game, I used to use these for blood counters. And then after, when I would play a Netrunner, I would use these for bit counters. And this is the same container I used to keep them in way back when. JSP might work for one of my competitors. Oh no. But it's all good. Mark Ludford seems to be my kind of thing. I'm glad to hear that, Mark. Small communities like this are really rad. I wish YouTube pushed more stuff like this. You know, that's an interesting comment, right? Because, yeah, repaired typed it up before I got a chance to say it. You know, it's such a the two sides of this coin are really fascinating, right? Because on the one hand, you know, a guy in my position could say, and I have said to myself, you know, why don't I have more subs? Especially when other channels of other content types that are a year old can have 20 to 30 times as many subs as I do. But if this channel was a 20,000 sub channel right now, or a 50,000 sub channel, this chat would not be going like this right now. You would not be able to talk amongst yourselves and, you know, type nice multi-line comments and have people reply to you, because everything would be moving by so fast. And the whole thing would be reduced to vanilla one-liners, you know, and the whole character of the thing would be changed. So it's a trade-off, right? It is a trade-off. And it's not that I try not to fixate on that sort of thing too much, because to a large degree there's not much I can do about it. But I will say that once I started streaming, occasionally streaming, and now it's a little easier for me that I've kind of simplified this setup and started using my phone, so I'm able to do it more spontaneously now. But since I started streaming and hanging out with you guys here and looking at the quality of these small chats, I'm a lot less bothered that it took me a year to, you know, get 1,500 subs or whatever the number was, because that's what allows us to do this. and this is really cool. So that's where I'm at on it. And it's all good. But as always, I appreciate you guys being here. So what else is going on with you fine folks tonight? Plans for the weekend? Quality over quantity, I appreciate that. Let me try to catch up here. Mark's talking about YouTube pushing more varied content. Seems to be the same faces you see on the front page. You have to really dig for people who barely get recognition. I totally understand that. Every time I spend any time on YouTube, I encounter small channels that I have never ever seen before. Happens all the time. Double-edged sword, absolutely. I got a really interesting comment just today from a user called Floofy Town. But this person mentioned that they used to make whispering content, 6 or 7 years ago, when the whole whisper thing was, whisper about something and put it over like a still image. And, that was the whole community built around that kind of a content. And this person said that they stopped making videos when, it kind of morphed into what it is now. And the phrase they used, "Hey, Volpe's in the house." How you doing, Volpe? We're just doing a little impromptu thing tonight. Feel free to hang out. But the phrase they used, they said, that they bailed out when the videos turned more into writing and acting exercises. I think that's very interesting. And they were, talking about how, the stuff I do here kind of reminds them of the old days or whatever. And, I have a ton of respect for all of the work that goes into Tyler Smith. How you doing tonight? That goes into those kind of videos. But, it never crossed my mind to really dip my toes into that water, because it's just, all I'm trying to do is have a dining room table conversation, right? My version of creativity is to try to capture or invent a conversational atmosphere. You know, creativity can look like a million different things, right? It's really hard to say that the very simple videos are any less creative, because you're still creating something out of nothing, and you're creating a mood, you're creating an experience, right, for the viewer, and you're making decisions about what you want that experience to be like. I definitely think there's room for everybody, but there's no doubt that, you know, certain styles are more in demand right now than others. And that's, you know, that's always the case with any supply and demand situation. But I'm definitely not, you know, elitist or anything like that. I'm just, you know, I'm just a guy rambling into a mic. Yeah, Volpe, that's you hit the nail on the head. People having a lot of different triggers. You know, my observation is that ASMR is one of the most personal and subjective things that there can be, right? Because A, people are using it for a variety of different things, and B, the triggers or the atmospheres that get them to the place that they're trying to get to vary widely from person to person. So you can put a post on Reddit and say, what are your favorite triggers? And you can post on Reddit right after that saying, what are your least favorite triggers? And the list will be exactly the same. Tyler Smith likes the map videos. Appreciate that, Tyler. Probably going to try a third one of those. Probably late November or so is kind of where I'm thinking. Hey, it's Watt, W-A-T. Thanks for being here tonight, Watt. Hope you're having a good evening or morning. What do we have here? Watt says there's plenty of roleplay out there. ASMR channels that live stream, however, are very rare. That feels personal, and I'm always drawn back. Tiger Lily Wildflower says hello. Thanks for being here, Tiger Lily. I appreciate seeing you. I gotta have, if we're dealing with chess pieces, I gotta have the rook. The rook is my favorite chess piece. Tyler asks, do I collect a lot of antiques? I do not. I'm not a collector at all. But I do have some antiques. Generally, the antiques I have them because they're they were a very specific interest of mine at one time or for a period of time. And I guess I do have a couple of very small collections of things, but I'm definitely not an antique collector. Volpe, are you talking about these chess pieces? These are just plastic. I think they've got a weight in them to make them a little heavier on the board. They got the little felt. Let's see if the felt makes sound. Not really. So, Tiger Lily, you have Volpe to blame for being here tonight? Oh, no. No, I don't have any wooden chess pieces. I don't actually play very often, but I always wanted to have a chess set in the house, and I get it out every once in a while. It does get draining pretty fast, though, when you're constantly making things for others rather than what you wanna. And that's a good point. Those are probably the two big camps of people, right? Or creators. Maybe I probably shouldn't generalize. I mean, you can put content out there that you can see is popular, in the hopes of, pulling down bigger numbers. Or you can just do the things that you enjoy the most and just let the audience that likes that sort of thing find you organically, right? Oh, I think Volpe and I are saying the exact same things. I look down and Volpe's like typing out the exact things I'm saying. Yeah, I think we're on the same. I think we're on the same page. Astral ASMR is here. Hello, Astral. JSP, yeah, you get some sleep, okay? I don't care if your meeting isn't until 1 o'clock. You need to get some sleep. Thanks for chiming in tonight. I appreciate it. Kurt De Christina, restarted your stream from the beginning. Just heard you say you work as an engineer for a defense contractor. I'm an Army vet. Any chance you were in Afghanistan in 2012? I was not in Afghanistan in 2012. Thank you for your service, by the way. No, I've always been in defense contractor work. I've not actually been in the armed services myself, but my entire professional career has been on government contracts and usually in products that are used directly by the armed services. Excuse me. So my line of work has to do with really with products that are at the soldier's fingertips. So we obviously have well, but no, I was not in Afghanistan in 12. If you don't mind saying, Kurt, were you a pilot, or what was your role over there? Mark says it can be tricky to get that balance right. Had a bit of difficulty with that myself in the past. Are you a content creator, Mark? Wow, Kurt was a combat medic. My goodness. No, you didn't, and you did not derail my stream. The chat and these comments are really the point of us hanging out, is to kind of chat about stuff and see how everybody's doing. So no, I appreciate you chiming in. JSP is actually going this time. Okay. Good night, JSP. Get some sleep. Yeah, Tiger Lily. In terms of actual trigger sounds, my favorite sounds are always small sounds, small quasi unintentional sounds. I like little things that don't sound like they're being intentionally manipulated to make trigger sounds. So, if there's tapping that I like, it's always slow to medium speed, kind of random pattern tapping. Like lid sounds, those are very nice, but again, it has to be, like you're fiddling with a lid and you can't quite, you're slowly trying to put a lid on, but you can't quite get it lined up just right, and so you're fiddling with it, trying to get it on there, that kind of stuff. Oh, ceramics and glass. I was just thinking about that today because I've got a small little cup, a little pottery cup. It's about just this big at my desk at work, and it's a throne. Somebody threw it on a wheel, and it's got a fantastic tingy kind of a timbre to it. And I was thinking just today if I could if I had that at home, I would absolutely use it for one of these impromptu streams. It's just a neat piece. I wonder if doing something like this actually has an effect of, lowering heart rate and I mean, for me, the person doing it would be interesting to know. I never actually get ASMR off of things that I am doing, but if you think about a Zen garden, right? You think about, focusing on some very small task, like trying to rake the sand around or something, or make a particular pattern, and you compare it to focusing on these two chess pieces and focusing on just causing the two bits of plastic to just interact with each other in random little ways. I have to wonder about, whether this little exercise right here that I'm in the middle of right this second, has the same effect on the brain as raking around in a Zen garden would. It's 17 M. Man Booter. Hey, Mr. Lamp. It's fine. It's going well tonight, Mr. Booter. Thanks for being here. This is just a little impromptu stream, just to mess around a little bit. Please feel free to hang out and chat with the folks here. Mark Ludford settled on vlogging in the end, had some incredible experiences, and met some friends for life. That's very cool, Mark. Are you still vlogging? Yeah, Laney Lane, I use it. I use these things for meditation as well. I think just focusing on these two chess pieces is like meditation. Speaking of Zen gardens, I got an email the other day from a Zen garden company that wants to send me a free Zen garden to enhance my ASMR content or something like that. Doesn't really go with the theme of the channel, but I've never been contacted by anybody who wants to give me something for to use in a video before, so I thought that was kind of cool. Probably need to. They got a whole bunch of them to choose from. I need to pick one and do a little unboxing video on it or something. But I was really tickled to get that email. Yes, Astral, we have a dog. I'm not sure where he is at the moment. His name is Rhett, R-H-E-T-T, as in Rhett Butler from the Gone with the Wind. So, Tiger Lily, you say you're making ASMR videos, but you're not uploading them because of school? Seems to me that making the videos would be the time-consuming part, right? Not uploading them. So, if you've got time to make them, why don't you go ahead and upload them so we can check them out? Astral Rhett is a mountain cur, C-U-R. He's supposed to be from what we've read, he's supposed to be a treeing dog. So he would be the kind of dog that would chase chase something up a tree. But we think he must be the most timid, scaredy cat, mountain cur on the planet. It's really hard to imagine him chasing anything up anything because he's a very timid fellow. He doesn't like sudden loud noises. We got him from the animal shelter quite a few years ago now, and so we suspect that he had some sort of a issue in his past, something with the previous owner that's caused him to be a little bit skittish. So Tiger Lily says no uploading from the parents. Okay, I gotta defer. I gotta support what the parents say. I'm a parent too, so you gotta abide by those rules. I know they feel like they suck sometimes, but that's the name of the game right now. Yeah, he's been a good dog. He's struggling with a few health issues these days, so he's an older fellow now. Mark talks about his current subscriber base with his vlogs and how they might take to a shift to ASMR content. So, Mark, how big of a subscriber base do you have? You bring, you're really firing some interesting questions in my mind, because something I've been thinking about lately. You talk about a request to make ASMR videos, and how they would react to the sudden shift. I mean, I guess my question would be, you know, if we get away from that term, right, and think about what aspects of your current vlogging style might already almost be similar to that kind of a style, right? Meaning, what if you do ASMR content and never call it ASMR, right? I mean, sometimes I wonder if, well, like the commenter that I told you about, Floofy. Now I can't remember their name. You know, I mean, they were doing things called the whisper community before the ASMR term was coined, right? Now, but if you put whispering aside, like if someone was doing a soft spoken vlog, right? But they never called it ASMR. What if they just did a vlog channel, but this kind of a delivery, this kind of tone of voice was just how they did it, right? I mean, what if it's just a relaxing vlog channel, right? Like, what if this channel, my channel, was called something like Gas Lamp Rambles, right? I mean, what would the effect of that be? Would I be better off, you know, doing exactly the same thing, but I didn't have ASMR in the channel title? Does that make a difference? And I'll tell you, one reason that crossed my mind once is because, you know, there's this big debate about as more and more people in the general public start to gain an awareness of what ASMR is, there's a big debate about what's the first impression, right? Are people getting a first impression that it's an overly sexualized kind of a thing? And so as more and more people learn about ASMR, you know, are they going to, what is the impression that's going to grow in the general public? Is it going to be positive or negative, right? And is there an advantage or disadvantage to maybe taking a channel like mine, which is, you know, kind of a hybrid, kind of a mix of several things, and calling it something different? Mathematics is in the chat. Good to see you. It's been a long day. Great to come back to this live stream. It's been a long day for me too. Mathematics. Repaired says the channel Check It Out basically does that. Creating ASMR content without naming it so. Check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out. Thanks for the suggestion. Mark Ludford is just shy of 24K. That's really cool. That's cool if you want to keep it anonymous, but if I searched on that username, Mark Ludford, on YouTube, would I find your vlog channel? Astral, I just caught your comment about a dog well suited to an ASMR environment. Good point, good point. I think it's great, Mark, that you can have 24,000 subs and still feel like you've got a tight knit group. That's really outstanding. Good for you. I mean, that's got to be a testament to your style of content, your personality, group of factors. Good for you. I gotta stop hitting this thing with my rings. I'll give you guys fair warning. I'll probably shut this down in about probably the top of the hour. About 6 minutes or so. I gotta work in the morning and I'm much more of a behind the scenes. My preference is to be a behind the scenes kind of guy, but I've got to lead a meeting with the director of engineering at our site tomorrow. So that sort of thing always fills me with a little bit of anxiety. So that's one of the reasons I'm here tonight. But I also need to get some sleep before doing that, so I'm going to probably bail out in 5 minutes or so. But I will schedule something more formal sometime pretty soon. Thanks, Volpe. I hope so. I'm always... I have no bigger critic than me, sadly. It's one of the personality flaws I struggle with. I probably do find more often than I think I do, but hard for me to see it in the moment. I'm one of these, my social anxiety makes it so that oftentimes I struggle to get the quick answer or something in a conversation when, there's kind of a higher up in the room. I'm more of a small, I'm a small group kind of guy. I work better in those kind of situations. So the bigger the group and the more higher ups are in the room, the more my brain starts kind of slowing down and locking up a little bit. And I hate when that happens. Yeah, you're very welcome, Mark. I'm gonna check out your channel. As a matter of fact, just to make sure I capture it before I close the chat down. There, wrote it down. But yeah, hopefully it'll be fine. it's easy to preach things like, look at the bright side, stay positive, and things like that. It's easy to say that when we're talking about other situations, right? But so hard to apply it to ourselves sometimes. Part of the human condition, I suppose. Well, friends, I really appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes this evening. It's just what the doctor ordered for me tonight. I feel so much better. I love connecting with you folks. I love to see the same, or many of the same names show up when I do one of these unannounced, and I love seeing a few new names, and I love that you guys are interacting with each other. So it's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate it. But it is 11 o'clock p.m. local time, and I'm going to take this opportunity to bid you all adieu. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely evening. And thanks, Repaired. I appreciate it. You guys get some rest too, and it's Wednesday, so enjoy the rest of your week. If you have a holiday weekend coming up with Labor Day, I hope you get to spend it with people you care about. Thanks, Volpe. Thanks, everybody in the chat. And we will catch you guys later, okay? Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks, Volpe. I appreciate it. I'll let you know how it goes on Twitter. Okay? Don't forget I'm on Twitter. Those of you who are on Twitter, if you haven't joined me over there, I do some nice behind-the-scenes photos and things like that, some sneak peeks into future videos, so feel free to follow me over there if you like. Okay, everybody. See you later. Sweet dreams. Take care.